Hey everyone, Phobos here, coming at you with a build demonstration for the Freezing Pulse / Ice Spear Hierophant Totem character. So, I'm going to go over the gear first, then the passives, or probably the passives first, then the gear, right? And then we're going to just run a Conqueror map. So, this is the tree, only using one threshold, or one cluster jewel right now. It's actually the projectile one for some extra projectile speed for the Freezing Pulse, and then mostly for Shrieking Bolt, which is the taunt, because it actually does work on totems, and it's like super great for things like bosses and metamorphs. I'm not really sure which Conqueror this is, so you may not get to see it that well depending on like where he is on the screen, but we'll see. Running 2 First Snows, and for the Ice Spear you just swap one of those out with a Ring of Splinters. That's one of your swaps. And other than that, the tree is pretty standard, I would say. There's other totem things you can use if you want. They're pretty good. There's one that extends the range of totems, so like you can actually place them further. It's definitely good, and I did a test. It is noticeable. I can post the screenshot in the description. But I think ultimately, for a lot of the content, it's just not super necessary. Depending on what you want to do, it might be more necessary or not necessary, right? So if you want to use that one, check it out. It also gives like duration and damage, so it's a pretty good node, especially if you pair it with another one of the damage ones. There's also an Arcane Surge one, so if you're ever running a build that doesn't use mana, like Blood Magic with the ES on the mana, that one's super good for that. So just a couple notable ones for totems that I would say to keep in mind. In terms of the gear, pretty good helmet, but I had a shitter one before starting this. Main thing is just want to get a 20% Freeze Pulse projectile speed enchant, and that'll be fine. Pandemonious, as you can see, I've allocated Sanctum of Thought. Now, if we go back on the tree, that's this node right here. And with this, you basically get the 20% reduced extra damage from critical strikes, which is nice, but you're 100% curse immune. Well, unaffected by curses with the 2 Kikazaris and that. You could run the other rings from, I don't know what the influence is, I think it's Crusader or something, but and get like more life, maybe a little more damage. The thing is though, you don't really need more res or anything like that, and you can't get a ton of damage on them, maybe unless they were like super god rolled, right? And you do gain more life, but you're taking more damage, keep in mind, because you would only be at like 90% reduced effective curse. That means that 10% of those hard-hitting curses like Vuln, Projectile Weakness, etc. are going to still hurt you pretty bad. Obviously, like things like the resistance curses aren't a big deal, but you know, those will still hit you. So using a Crystal Belt, you can use a Stygian if you want. I think like maybe a God tier Stygian with a God tier jewel would be better, but this is a really kind of great like budget option, I would say. This belt's pretty decent though. Gloves, I mostly just try and get prod speed, and I just crafted the mana on there because I could, because we're using MOM. Comb's Roots, so this is the new addition I added. I originally added these because I think the league is just bullshit with the stuns. You don't need the movement speed corrupt on there. It's nice. I'm actually trying to enchant one, then corrupt move speed right now, or potentially buy one that has a good enchant with move speed. It's going to be really expensive, but I don't care because I don't think I'm going to be playing a ton of builds this league. But yeah, you definitely don't need it. You can just start with the normal Comb's Roots and you'll be good. Wand is pretty good, but this one was like, I don't think it was more than 20C. Wands, especially for Freeze Pulse, I feel like you can tend to get them for a good steal. It's either people are unaware of the mods or it's just not popular enough. Projectile speed, I try and get it on the wands because it's just super good for the build, which is pretty obvious, I guess. Something I always try to go for on wands, which I think I would technically want on a max roll wand, but it would be really hard to get, would be this mod right here, the up to Kadi. Chaos damage to spells with cast speed, because Freeze Pulse has a 150% damage effectiveness, and obviously cast speed is insanely good, so that mod is just insane. Ideally with these wands, you would have See if you can see this one, it has the hybrid and the spell damage. Ideally, you wouldn't have the hybrid. You would have a +1 and you just crap the spell damage or something like that, but that's going to be super hard to get. So these are pretty god tier wands. This one I actually annulled something. I didn't buy it like this. I paid 10C for the kind of like bricked base, and 1 out of 6 annulled it and got it. Now it's probably worth like 2x or something, I don't know. That's pretty much the gear. You don't need gear anywhere near as good as that. I mean, the gear is not even like that insane to begin with. So.
Job never ends.
Stay safe.
Baron. So usually I'll do the map with Freeze Pulse. Didn't really talk about the skills, so use Smoke Mine, just keep up the movement speed thing, and then using Dash otherwise, and I use the Arcane thing, the new defensive skill. I use it pretty liberally and kind of just preemptively pop it because how this game works, especially before the changes they made to the Stellarium shit, is just like such bullshit, right? So you can never really know when you're gonna take a big hit because the game's just retarded, so you just want to always try and have it up. You can play like how I did it, and I think I'm gonna make a hardcore version of this just to see how it fares in hardcore, especially now that things have been adjusted a little bit. But how I pretty much handle it is like when that is up, I play more aggressively, right? And then when it's not up, I play a bit more passively as a boss there, I think. Kind of want to... that's not good. We did it too soon. Did he go away? He did. Found him kind of late. The reason why I tried to make the swap there is because Freeze Pulse is not very good at killing that boss. I mean, it's like, it's not that you die or anything, but it just has like a lot of HP and super high maps for a build like this, because I'll just finish out the map with the Ice Spear. It's probably not even that much. My friend was talking to me about a chain Ice Spear build, so I think I'm going to do that. Try that. He said it was pretty good. So I'll probably do that, and then I'm doing a ball lightning mine. Is there something over here? Oh, is that that? Oh, okay, yeah, there's that. Can I get across? Oh, we did it. Chain would actually be so fucking cool on this. Forget, do you have to fight this guy, or do you do? Okay. Swap in the jewel. So basically, you just make sure you have all your stuff swapped in, which is GMP in place of added cold, and Ice Spear in place of Freezing Pulse, and then the jewel. The jewel's really important because it's 2 extra proj. If it was like a super intense boss or something like serious, I would swap in my helm as well. That gives 1 extra projectile, but Conqueror is just a bitch, so it doesn't really matter. Especially it's only like eye level 81. I mean, Sirius kind of a bitch too, but he has more HP, right? So. Ooh, I just like inted into him there. So, kills it pretty fast. It's not like insane or anything. There's like obviously kills to do way more damage, but it's pretty good. I mean, you can get a lot of damage on a budget with this if you do Ice Spear. If you don't do Ice Spear, it kind of takes a bit with Freezing Pulse. The damage just isn't quite there. So, just something to keep in mind there. I'm being a noob here. Terrible inventory management. But yeah, thanks for watching. Another serious one. So, see you later.